might still want the act, not the ghost.
Whoa. Well, hello and welcome to the DCUK podcast. I'm hearing myself. What is going on? That was weird. Sorry about that. But yeah, welcome back to the DCUK podcast. This is season 5 and it's episode 11. Yes, that is it, episode 11. And as always, I'm your host, James Graham, and welcome to DC United in the chat. This is amazing. Hello. Pleasure to have you in the chat. Please be around for the entire show. That will be fantastic. So on today's show, we have a few bits of news. There's been not really DC related, but obviously we've got a bit of MLS stuff, World Cup stuff, and personal UK team stuff as well. Going to be looking back against the games against Nashville, which I tuned in live for, and the game against Philadelphia, which I've just recently been watching the highlights and taking some notes. And, you know, a match preview as well for this weekend's game. And I also attended the press conference earlier where Wayne Rooney and Derek Williams were involved as well. So I did, again, took some lovely notes. I didn't actually ask a question this time, but, you know, I did take some notes. So I know for the next press conference, I might just pluck up the courage and ask Wayne Rooney a question next time. So honestly, absolutely love it. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Stu, Isaiah, Pamit as well. Thank you very, very much. Pleasure to see you all here. Good afternoon. It's good evening here. It is just gone 10 p.m. So yeah, let's move on to some of the news. We will do some trivia time as well, but I'm going to do this after the news. So it gives you a little bit extra time to have a little think about it. I will not be afraid to ask questions next time. I won't be. I was just like, you know what? I just got to take a couple of notes, see how the professionals do it, and I will do it next time. So news-wise, we're going to roll a little theme tune when I can click the right button. Your proper news theme tune. So a few bits of news. We're going to go straight into the sad news to start off with, which is my UK team, Middlesbrough. Unfortunately, they were knocked out of the Championship playoffs after not being able to score in both legs. A little bit frustrating on that one after the heck of a season that we've had, where we were just above the relegation zone back in November. Then we took on Michael Carrick, who you'll probably know, who was a former Manchester United midfielder and England international. He's done brilliant. He's turned so many players around. Chuba Akpom being the main guy who scored 29 goals this season. Just unbelievable. Didn't have a squad number to start off with. Carrick came in, got him going, and that was fantastic. So, then, I'm just thinking it was so sad. Chuba Akpom was in floods of tears at the end of the game. That really made me choke a little bit seeing that. Zach Stefan, US international, plays for Manchester City, who's been on loan at the Barrow this year. He was just so great with the fans after the game. Go on Facebook. There's a page and group called Everything MFC. They shared a video of what Zach was doing, and it's very heartwarming. And I hope he comes back next season. Yes, he's had some ups and downs, but generally speaking, he's been very good, along with a few of our other loanees like Cameron Archer, Aaron Ramsey, both from Villa. They've been fantastic, and I just hope we're able to keep the majority of our players and kick on next season. So yeah, so there was that. Yesterday, I think it was, new MLS team coming in, 2025, I think it is, San Diego, who will either be called San Diego FC or FC San Diego. They've gone all out in the naming for this one. They've thought long and hard, but yeah, they're letting people choose on that one. So we'll end up knowing more later this year what the team name is going to be, what the club colours are going to be. But they're going to obviously be in the Western Conference, so we won't see them for probably a little while. San Diego SC. I could see that happening, but the CEO did actually come out and say it will be either San Diego FC or San Diego or FC San Diego. So it'll be one of those two. And then the other bit of news, the World Cup 2026 logo was announced. No, but it's not going to be soccer club. It will be football club. Honestly, I'm surprised because you expect it to be soccer club, being Major League Soccer and all that, but no. It will be football club or Football Club San Diego. There you go. Yeah, World Cup 2026 logo was announced. Yeah. I'm struggling with this one. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It certainly looks... how can I be nice about this one? It's squished. That's the best way I can put it, Stu. The 2026 logo. Strong word. Logo is in the air comments. Yeah, definitely strong word. I think I mentioned it in the DCUK group, which if you're not a member, please do come and join us, dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. And if you're on Twitter, we do have a private chat group, which is fantastic. It looks like the League's Cup font, or what the numbers would be in the League's Cup font, just squished down. And then someone stuck the World Cup on top of it, and stuck TM in the bottom corner. So I think there was a few other logos that were being shown around, potentially leaked out, and they look stronger, more colourful. I think this is just a bit... It feels a bit plain, I think that's probably the best way I can describe it, is a bit plain. So yeah, I think you're right. You're right, Stu. It does look sad. It does need some cookies and hugs and a bit of love, bit of cookie love. That's what we need. A bit of an adrenaline shot. That's what we're going to go for. But you might have also noticed, got myself a new old shirt as well. The 1996 replica jersey, which I'm over the moon with. Cost me 70 of my whole English pounds off eBay. I do love a bit of eBay purchasing on that one. It was a really good shout, that one. Happy that I got that. Then, I think actually that's it for the news, to be honest. Yeah, I've got nothing else, so you know what? Let's run the thing. Yeah, you're right. They are incredibly rare. I've been looking for one for such a long time, especially in the size that I need it as well, which is XL. I've seen mediums, I've seen large, I've seen smalls, but to get it in an XL, love it. I'm absolutely over the moon. The only thing is, it's not thin. It's not like the new shirt. I am hot at the moment, and it's not that hot here. It certainly traps the heat in the body heat. So, yeah, I don't think it will be worn occasionally. To be fair, what I keep saying this, and I need to get a tape measure out so I can put shirts evenly. But yeah, this particular shirt will be going up on the wall. So what I'm going to do, tell me if you like this idea. U20 World Cup starts tomorrow. To be honest, I completely forgot about that. So yeah, U20 World Cup starts tomorrow, and I believe we've got a couple of players who are in that. But yeah, I'm going to have the current season shirts up on the wall here, where they are at the moment. That's DCUK 19. Yeah, that's started the podcast. And then I'm going to have sort of the older shirts going on, and those will be on rotation. So, also, actually, another bit of news. I probably should just re-roll the clip, but the Pride shirt was announced as well, which is absolutely awesome. I love the Love Unites Pride shirt. That's awesome. But Pamela, I think you're going to drop some knowledge in the chat here. Do you know why they changed the 96 logo? No, I don't. I would love to know why they changed the 96 logo. That's going to be interesting. So he's looking. The Eagles looking to the right. Eagles looking to the. Well, the Eagles looking the different way. So the eagle on this one is looking to that way, which is the same way as what I've got on my logo. But when you look at the actual current badge, it's looking the other way. Some people thought the eagle was too Nazi-like. What? Sorry, I went silent there. That's not going to sound good on the audio version of the podcast, but I can kind of. I don't know whether I can bring it. Without getting the microphone away. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you might want to tune into the actual YouTube clip, but I can kind of get it. It's quite sharp, the eagle, and the current one is a little bit more rounded. So I kind of understand that, but yeah. Yeah. No. There you go. There's a couple of things about notifications. Yeah. Team Android, definitely Android all the way. Are you talking about? Are you talking about the? No, I'm not talking. No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm using that as a reference point. iPhones, Android settings. What you want to do, depending on which Android phone you've got. If you go to settings, apps, and then click onto YouTube, just check your notification settings in there. If not, drop me a message, I'll try and help out. That's my old job that Stu knows about, that I used to do day in, day out, check things like that. So hit me up on that. Fun fact, the standard white letters work better than the original lettering of the Captain Planet shirt. There you go. Have that. Nice fun facts. I love this. This is a great little chat going on right now. Great little chat. Absolutely love it. So, moving on to trivia question time, because I could just keep doing this all night. So, this weekend's game is LA Galaxy. So, with the trivia questions, it's always related to the game that we've got coming up. So this one relays back to the previous match. I know if you follow me on social media, you're going to get this one straight away. But if you listen a little bit of that, what you're going to do is the question, which is, who lived in Zlatan's head rent-free back in 2019? Who lived in Zlatan's head rent-free back in 2019? Let me know, hit me up in the chat there. Let me know what you think the answer is. If you listen to this after the fact, do drop me a tweet or Instagram, or however you choose to follow me on socials. So yeah, Stu coming in hot there with an answer right away. He follows me on social media, and we will revert back to the question at the end of the show where I will reveal the final answer. So yeah. Match review time. So we've had two games this past week. We've had Nashville and we've had Philadelphia. And as I mentioned previously, I watched the Nashville game, but I didn't actually tune into the Philly one because it's a midweek game, and I have work and staying up till 3 a.m. on a school night ain't gonna kill it. I've done it before. I've regretted it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. So, Nashville game, which I thought we finished 1-1 with 2 goals in the second half, nothing in the first. But I thought it was a good performance against a team who we've not beaten yet, and we still haven't beaten, which is a huge shame. But we're improving, and I think this is a sign of things to come. We showed really good fight to bring it back after we went behind. After that sloppy lapse in concentration, I want to say, for Nashville's goal. So they had a shot which was saved, if I remember correctly. Samake, unfortunately, just stood. I think he was thinking it's gone out of play. He didn't actually track the ball. Tyler Miller was yelling at him to go and close it down. The ball comes back in. Pinging around. Pines, Miller, no communication. Just what should have happened was Miller should have got that ball. He should have took control. From my perspective, he should have took that and just dived on it and done something. But instead, Pines has gone to hack it away. It's ricocheted off their mule and it's gone in the back of the net. There was claims of handball, which when you see it in real time, it looks like it's handball, but when you slow down, it is off sort of the chest armpit area, which isn't, unfortunately, handball. So it counted. Really annoyed, but that's what happens. But yeah, then we made the triple substitution, and 2 of those subs combined to bring the goal back. One of those players was Ted Kutipietro, the hero, the super sub. I thought it was Sardis. Oh, amazing. And yes, commiserations to Middlesbrough. Thank you for that, good boy. I will probably be saying the same to you after this weekend's fixtures for Arsenal. So I'll get that in advance. Then, yeah, our goal was brilliant. Fletcher, lovely pass over to Ted. Absolutely brilliant. And it was a nice, cool, calm, collected finish. That was fantastic. For 2 players who don't have a huge amount of experience in MLS, who were both very young, to come on, make that change, have that freedom to do that was fantastic. Just spot on. Absolutely spot on. So I'm happy that we were able to bring it back 1-1. My biggest pet peeve in this one was the refereeing. I thought it was poor, to say the least. The refs were, I can't remember, was it Nima Sagafi who was the referee for this game? 34 fouls in this one. 34. Far too many in this. We couldn't get a flow in the game. And this is for both sides. And from a neutral point of view, there was just no flow, no consistency. Well, the only consistency was the amount of free kicks that were being given away. And it just made it a bit haphazard, a bit... and that's my best word I can come up with is... So, yeah, we did the best what we could in this one. We didn't get beat, which we think about how we would have felt last year, the year before, we would have expected to get beat. So I think there's a lot of confidence flowing through the team and from the fans as well. Because I was kind of looking forward to this one, thinking we could get a really good result. And I think a draw was absolutely fine. I think I might have predicted 1-1 on the show. I think what I said, my head says draw, and I think I said my heart says win. Now for this one, so I'll take it. We look at shots on goal, 9-6, in favour of Nashville. We had 53% possession, which feels like we're starting to do a lot more now. We had a spell where we weren't having as much ball. When I talk about the Philly game, that will come clearer as well. Then on target wise, there was 3 shots out of the 15 that were on target overall. 1 to us, 2 to Nashville. Expected goals was, because of that, very low, 0.5 to 0.6. So from that aspect, it was not great at all. Defensively for us, it was really good. Attacking wise, you could tell there was, I think, we were missing Benteke. Taxi went off early, which meant Tado was on for the majority of the game. It was difficult for him. I really don't envy this game that he had to come into. It was difficult. There was quite a few players out injured. So the fact that we were able to come out of this with a 1-1 draw, I think we should be happy about that. It would have been great to get a win, but a 1-1 draw, absolutely take it. Stu made the best possible impact. Yeah, 100%. Maybe should have come sooner, possibly. Before their first goal would have been great, but it was a reactionary triple substitution. I don't think we would have done a triple sub if it was still 0-0. So Rooney absolutely spot on with his substitutions there for me. Cooley was the bright spot. Felt we dropped a couple of levels when he was subbed. I think you're probably talking about the Philly one on that one, because Ted came on in this one. But when I do talk about the Philly one, actually, I only caught the highlights in that game, so I can only go off what I've seen on that. Not had a chance to actually watch. Yes, there we go, confirmation. Not being able to watch a full 90 minutes. So that's it about the Nashville game. Happy? No, don't be sorry. It's fine. Absolutely fine. I'll allow it. It's a Friday. We're all happy on a Friday. The weekend is upon us. We've got soccer to look forward to this weekend. Times are good. So yeah, Nashville, happy with the result and credible. We're moving on up. So we go on to Philly, which is the rivalry week, which I really despise. Rivalry week, especially when it's not against our actual rivals, forced rivals from MLS. And I tweeted out when rivalry week was being bandied about last weekend that rivalries are born from history and tradition, not from being forced. And I get the New York Red Bulls and the New York City, because they've got 2 cities, and that's another thing that rivalries are born from, is geography. And now they've had the years. They've got this is the 8th year between the 2 sides. They've had some absolutely incredible results between the two clubs. So yeah, absolutely fine. Not a problem that they're rivals. But the DC New York Red Bulls is a bigger rivalry. There's so much more history between the 2 teams. So that's the one that should be bandied around, not the Philly Union, which, yes, there's been plenty of fixtures, but it's never been seen as a rivalry. I would say, and feel free to agree or disagree with me on this one, I would say right now, Orlando are more fierce rivals than Philly Union, because of the way the Rooney fixtures have gone. Since Rooney came in, and that tackle, the halfway line, the free kick, the last minute goals that we get in those games, to me, that's a bigger rivalry than Philly Union. That's probably because we don't usually get really good results against Philly Union. So Most of Philly fans used to be DC United fans before Philly got their own team. Okay, I kind of understand so why that would be. Hmm. Well, there you go. I love you. I absolutely love it. You're coming in with all this good classic knowledge. Um, I know who you are. We met when you came up to when you and your son were over in the UK earlier this year. That was brilliant. I need to get Matt back on the show. He's up for it. We just need to organise a time for it. Sons of Ben were tied to DC fans. Okay. There you go. Stu coming in saying Orlando are a bigger rivalry. The matches have more spine and anticipation. Good boy loves the away days at Orlando. And Philly is a historical rivalry with DC in sports in general. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't follow any of the other sports, which I really need to in DC. I keep telling myself I want to start following NFL. I want to start following the basketball, the ice hockey. I want to really get into that, but I just haven't. So I don't know whether I just need to spend a bit of time with some hardcore DC sports fans for the other sports and get into it. So we'll see. Maybe he's needs to go to see the Commanders. Was it the Nats? I think I'm going to Nats game when I'm out there in September. I would love to go and see the Wizards. I'd love to go and see that. So we'll see what happens when I'm out in September. DC has a bigger rivalry in MLS with New York Red Bulls and LA Galaxy. Yes, Galaxy, which is obviously what we're going to come on to this weekend. That is the historic, isn't it? That's the history behind those teams. And even Columbus, obviously an OG team. So early days of LA Galaxy with Donovan come to RFK was something else. Yeah. Good Landon Donovan. And I feel sorry for him and the San Diego loyal team having to now compete with can't say the main with San Diego FC or whatever they're going to be called. I feel that's really poor from MLS. They've just gone straight for the money. Was it $500 million? I think they've paid to get in. It's just an obscene amount of money. Absolutely obscene. And they've just gone, Donovan, we named an award after you, but we're not. Your team's not coming in. So yeah, take what you will from that one. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One of those types of moves by MLS. 100% agree. So a little breakdown on Philly DC. Click Knaus. So I literally I was watching the highlights and started taking notes. So this is kind of in a chronological-ish order. That half billion fee is why you will not see Pro Rel in our lifetime and no less. Yeah, because no owner is going to want to be paying that kind of money just to get relegated. No one's going to do that. What it should be is you pay that, start in the tier below, and then work your way up. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. It would have to be a completely different league. I would have thought USL would have done it, but I would love to see Pro Rel in some kind of US sport. Absolutely love it because I think it would the drama. You've got the playoffs and you've got the drama behind the playoffs, but surely the battle to stay in that league and the battle to get promoted is drama in of itself. You look at what I've just gone through in this last week with Borough and the playoffs to get promoted. That's the kind of drama. I've got the heartache of being knocked out of the playoffs. And you've got obviously Southampton being relegated. You've got other teams battling it down. Leicester probably going to go down now. but you've got that drama. Had Burnley win the league by absolutely League One playoffs. Sheffield Wednesday coming back from 4-0 down to win on penalties. Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable. So throwing up about Leeds. Oh, that could be interesting. Oh, if Leeds go down, at least you've got Borough to play next year. So that'll be quite cool. Click level of fitness is the best I've seen. Full sprints every 3 minutes. This might be controversial, but I think he could have helped Leeds stay up. Yeah, and I see that a lot on social media about Click. He absolutely is loved and adored by the Leeds fans, and they're absolutely upset. What DC player was a major player for Sheffield Wednesday? John Harkes, I want to say. John Harkes. Palmer with a question there. Brolel gives another edge at the bottom end. Playoffs are all about the top end, finish last. So what? There's always next year. Yeah. Stu coming in with that comment there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was John Harkes. I'm just going to have to do a quick Google. Yes! Scored goal of the year. Ah, there you go. I thought it was John Harkes. Thought it wasn't. I'm glad I was right. Anyway, back to the Philly game. So yeah, Click and Knaus had some good attempts from range. Philly had a goal disallowed in the first half, which was really good defensive work. Good offside trap played. Really high line. Carranza was then offside. Benteke had an attempt from just inside the box from the outside of his foot, which just went wide. That was on a first touch attempt as well. So that was really good skill, just very unfortunate. Knaus as a destroyer in the midfield three. Yeah, Knaus has done awesome this season. I'm really pleased for him. And he was mentioned in the press conference as well. It seemed like there was quite a lot of action in the first half from the highlights. And Blake had a great game, making some really key saves. Benteke was really good as well in sort of the build-up plays. So, yeah, I think Benteke had a good game in that one from the looks of it. Massive improvement of the losing 13-1. I knew someone was going to mention those results from last year. So, yeah. So yeah, we're going to move away from that. This game didn't have anywhere near as many fouls, which was great, but lots more shots as well. So there was 27 shots in total. That's opposed to 15. In the Nashville game, 16 of those were to Philly, 11 for us, but only 5 on target. So percentage-wise, not as good. We had 3 of those on target. XG-wise, 0.6 to 1.5 in our favour. So yeah, so we probably should have won this game. But yeah, Blake made some really good saves. So very difficult. Blake is a quality keeper as well. No doubt about this. Andre Blake. You'd have him in your team. Not saying Tyler Miller's only as a bad keeper. Tyler's actually done better than I was expecting. So yeah, Andre Blake, if you offered him, you'd probably take him. So yeah, so for me, another decent result. Another clean sheet against a side that we typically just don't do that well against. As Pamit quite rightly pointed out there, last year we conceded 13 goals. So, and yeah, another point, even with all the players out. Yeah, was it Andy, Birnbaum, Taxi, Pedro Santos is out injured at the moment. Mohamed Jeze is out as well. So, yeah, the fact that we've got some key players out injured or whatever, yeah, I think we've done really well. So, looking forward to this weekend's game against Galaxy. Saturday, May 20th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff, 12:30 our time. They've got a 3 months of MLS season pass going on at the moment. So if you've not signed up for it before, go get it. Why not? Free for a month. Might as well. So yeah. No, Stu, cottoned you onto it. See if you get that one. But yeah, it's nice to be able to watch it. Watch this game at the weekends. I'll have some beers in the fridge, no doubt, which is just down there. And then yeah, so this Saturday, head-to-head wise, we've played 48 times between the two sides. We've won 17, Galaxy have won 20, and there's been 11 draws in MLS regular season. I think for me, for this weekend, we come into it with a lot of confidence, and I'm just going to revert back to my press conference notes here. So Wayne Rooney was up first on the press conference for this game, and some of the key points that he talked about were about the recent form. So Dave Johnson asked him about what's changed, how have we gotten so much better, what's happening. So there's been great strides over the last few months. We were unfortunate not to pick up 3 points in the last few games, which again I totally agree with. The Cincy game, we could have at least gotten a point out of that one. Really annoyed that we didn't. The Nashville game, I thought we could have got 3 points out of that one. And the Philly game, from the highlights and from what people have said, we should have got 3 points in that one. So the fact that we're looking at these and go, yeah, we should have won this one, and we've come away with 2 points out of what we should have had was possibly 7, is very frustrating. It's nice to be frustrated like that, I think, compared to what we've been previously, and we go, yeah, we deserve to get beat, this, that, and the other. I actually saw the very first LA Galaxy game back in LA in '96. The crowd was close to 70,000. That would have been amazing. I would have loved to have seen that back in those days. But then I was only 8, so not old enough really. Still learning some college American football matches, which is mental. Yeah. I still don't get that. Rooney went on saying about everybody's now, well, not that they didn't know, but everybody seems to be comfortable in the roles, and everybody knows that. We're defensively solid. So there's a lot of confidence flowing through the team, not just from a certain subsection, but everyone is in that position. Talking about the game this weekend, so we can't afford to be complacent. We need to be at our best levels. He reckons Galaxy are unfortunate not to be higher up the table as well. So yes, they are currently joint bottom in the West. Let me just double check that, because I did check it last week, but I've not checked it since the midweek games. No, they are actually properly bottom at the moment. The bottom of the supporter shield. There's been a lot of off-field distractions, which I think might well be contributing to this. This is a great opportunity for us to really exploit on that. Then asked about the availability of players this weekend. There's no updates. There's no extra players going to be back for this weekend. So all the players from last weekend and midweek are going to be out this weekend. But some good news. So Pedro Santos, Andy Nahar, Steve Birnbaum, and Taxi are all due to be back next week. So when we are playing, who have we got next weekend? Why we've gone blank? Toronto next weekend. We should have a few players back, so that's good. Happy about that. Then Wayne was asked about how Christian Fletcher's handling the combination of school life and pro soccer life. Seems to be handling it very, very well. They wanting the best. The club are dealing with everything very, very well. Christian's doing great in training, so that's good to hear. He was then asked about Mahana Jose as well. So Mahana's back in USA now. So he's arrived back, but he's still injured, and obviously there's the suspension that he got from MLS, so they need to deal with that as well. And then Dave went on to ask him about Russell Knaus and the role that he does and how he's generally regarded as maybe as an unsung hero. So Wayne went back on how when he came into the head coach role back in last year, Russell had a few niggles, which is why he didn't really play so much. But this year, he knew that he was going to be part of the plans, gave him that key role. And for me personally, I think Russell's done incredibly well. He was on the show earlier on this year after the Toronto game where he was captain. Expernbaum was out. And yeah, it's really good to hear that from Wayne himself, and it's good to see Russell doing so well. Following on from Wayne, we had Derek Williams in the conference, and Derek was talking about how the progress is building through every game. And it's not just from the back five's point of view, but also from the entire team. So everyone's playing well together. Everybody's looking out for each other. That was in regards to the defensive side of things. So everybody's contributing. So he talks about how Click is coming back. You've also got Knaus covering there. And it's not just the back five. So that's good. Then talking about how comfortable he is playing the ball, playing out from the back as well. So he sees one of his key things that he plays as is those passes that he's able to do. And we saw that against Nashville, how cool, calm, composed he is, how he can spot a long ball through. We saw that a few times in that game. And then about Tyler Miller. So there was a question about that. And he was asked what it was like to have a goalkeeper who tackles in the midfield area. Now, we know what that's like. We had that with Rafa Romo. But Tyler Miller also does the keeping very, very well. So they seem to love it. They seem to be very comfortable with the fact that they know a keeper is just there. So when they got teams who are looking to exploit the defense with the ball over the top, Miller's there already. So that allows them to press up a little bit. They know they've got that comfort blanket, I think is what it's actually the term. Yeah, I've got that written down, comfort blanket. So they got that. And then he was asked about LA. Because obviously Derek, we got him on trade from LA Galaxy. So he knows a few of those players from there. So how dangerous they are going forward. We need to be keeping Chicharito quiet. But the key to beating Galaxy is the transition. They seem to be quite weak on that. So that's where we're going to be looking to beat them. The confidence is high within the team as well, especially from the performances from the last few games. But it just feels like we need to be a lot more ruthless, which is definitely 100%. We need to be scoring goals. The fact that we've only scored one goal we've only scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, that definitely needs to improve. Yeah, going back to Chicharito, that's his big focus, how he does 2 to 3 minutes before going to where he wants to in the box. So he needs to be on his toes and keep alive with that. And that was about it from the press conference. Really pleased that I was able to get the time to actually go on to that today. I'm going to be making an effort to get on to more. And then, like I said, I saw when the DC United admin was in the chat there. I actually get to start asking some questions as well. But it was nice just to get an eye on it, see what types of questions are being asked, because I want to ask the right kind of questions. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. So I see there's been a few comments in the chat there. USA 94 was my first real World Cup, and the whole tournament was a big reason I got into NASL history and MLS at the beginning. Really excited for 2026 and what that's going to do for exposure. And that's what we see about World Cups, is what kind of legacy that's going to leave in each country. 7 games in 94, including the USA versus Switzerland game in Detroit. The only game ever played indoors. Okay. Fair. USA. CHG. Why am I going to blank on that one? Being the only outdoor. On indoor makes absolute sense. Can't think of another. Goalkeeper midfielder George Campos. Jose Chilavert. Oh yes, Chilavert. Now there's a throwback. Loved him. He was brilliant. Miller's been a good surprise. I wasn't holding the high ups, but he's impressed so far. Good evening, Andy. Nice to see you up there. And big up to the DCU admin. Yeah, still can't believe that. That's awesome. What a great way to start the show. Cool. So moving back to the game. So we are unbeaten in the last 5 home matches against LA Galaxy. LA's last win in DC came back in 2010. So it's been a while. Granted, we don't have a huge amount of games against them because of the conference, the fact that they're in the West and we're in the East. So there's few and far between. It's been 4 years since we last played them in DC. DC have only lost 1 in our last 6 matches. 6 MLS matches, I should say, not overall, which it was against FC Cincinnati. And so far, in this last 6 MLS matches, we've gained as many points as we did in the previous 20. So that just shows you how much we've turned around. We've turned a corner, and we just need to keep moving forward, moving on it. Benteke has led or co-led attempts at goal for us in 7 of the 12 matches so far this season. That shows you how much of a key player he is and how much he's actually worth that DP level of money. So, and that's actually something that I did see, didn't look into too much detail because, again, I've been quite busy this week. But the salaries were announced and we were in the top 5 in terms of salary spend. So, interesting, we're actually spending money. We just need to spend, I think, keep doing that, keep spending the money, keep getting up there. But I think we just need to see some like the big transfer fees. I think that's what we need to get excited about. And other than that, Galaxy have now gone 5 road games in a row without scoring, and they've not won at all on the road so far this year. So, they're not doing very well at all. As mentioned, that they're bottom of the league in both East and West in the overall Supporter Shield standings. It's just mad. 5-time MLS Cup champions, and they're currently bottom. Yeah, a bit mad, really. So, in terms of their actual squad, they've got 3 DPs, and Chicharito, as we've been mentioned, especially in that press conference, one of their key players. Douglas Costa, I still find that mad. Douglas Costa, I remember signing him from Gremio on Football Manager back in the day, with him and Lucas Leiva. That was mad. And the fact that now he's playing in MLS, I think is brilliant. Ricky Puig as well, who came from Barca. Might be wrong. I'm sure it was Barca. That's a great signing. Not seem to have done too well. Well, I say great signing. On paper, it should be a great signing, but they've got 3 players in their under-22 initiative: Julian Aude, Caligari, and Dejan Joveljic. I like Joveljic. I think he's a great forward. I've signed him on Football Manager before. He seems to do very well, and he seems to be a good player. He had a pretty good season last year as well, and scored plenty of goals. So definitely another player that we need to be keeping an eye out. Good in the air and he's strong. So we need to keep an eye on that. But prediction-wise for this weekend, I think we need to really be going for a big win for this one. I think another clean sheet is on the cards as well. We're not really conceding a huge amount of goals. Touch wood. I'll probably just jinx this now. Sorry if that's the case. But yeah, I think we're going to get a win. We're back at Audi Fields. It looks like it's going to be a strong attendance as well this weekend. The Chico stand is sold out, so that's good. I hope everyone who's listening is going to be who's got the ticket for the game is there from the kickoff rather than telling them throughout the game. I would love to see a big attendance right from the get-go. So yeah, I reckon it's going to be like 3 or 4-0 this weekend. I really do. I think we're just going to absolutely dominate this one. If we don't, we're really going to be disappointed. We need to be a big win this weekend. If we look at the league table, so we're currently in 8th place at the moment on 16 points. We are 2 points behind 5th in Columbus. Granted, we've played one extra game, but 2 points behind Charlotte, who are on the same amount of games as us. So we could potentially move up a place or two, depending on how results go. Who Charlotte got this weekend? Charlotte's. They've got Nashville this weekend. So yeah, we could potentially move up a place or two. So hopefully we can do that. Montreal have dropped back down again after they got beat midweek as well. So we're back above them. But the East is so tight. The East is very competitive this year. I absolutely love it. When you look at the West, you've got Seattle on 23 points. And then you've got LA Galaxy on 9 points down at the bottom. You look at, which is actually a 14-point gap. And that's actually the same in the East as well. So you've got Cincinnati on 27 and Toronto on 13. So there's the gap is the same, but there's a lot more points in the East. So yeah. Looking forward to this weekend. Really happy that we've got this game. MLS season pass. And yeah, I think it's going to be a big one. Just go back through the chat. Yes, Puigo's a passer kid, high potential but never made the grade. And midfield, Bohan. Should be watched closely. Could be a danger, 100%. I love the Bohan reference there. Big, was a big fish in a small pond. Same thing as Bohan with when he played at Stoke City. One of the bright spots along with Jovic, playing with the Galaxy has been excellent. It's the players around him that have been poor. Okay, fair enough. Guys are not being assembled very well. We should win it. Getting Bradley at Toronto vibes. Yeah, I really do think we're going to get a big win. So 3-4-0 is what I'm going to go for. Let me know what you think is the score. Stu's going for 2-1. 2-1, okay. Fair. I prefer my result. When you have to rely on Jell and Neil, a 19-year-old, to carry the defense, you have trouble. Yeah. Because what they got Martin Carceres. I think I pronounced that wrong, but yeah, Martin Carceres, the Uruguayan. That threw me when I was looking at the squad. I was like, recognize him. Not DP though. But he was been serving suspension recently as well. So yeah, let's move on to some fan questions. So this week, Pamit coming in there with a 2-0. Yeah, another clean sheet there from Pamit. So yeah, nice to see wins across the board here. Happy about that. Fan questions. So Stu, I know you're in the chatting away, but you did send in a question, and you were asking, what's your favorite thing about this season so far? Squad building, play developments, play, special moment on the pitch, attitude. Favorite thing for me has been the togetherness of the team and the attitude that we give throughout a full 90 minutes. So the reason why I say that, so you look at when Jacob Green scored his goal, everyone was celebrating. And I mean, literally everyone, not just the players, but the coaching staff, the physios, everyone was there. Generally, you see the players getting there. You see when certain players score, everyone goes in there, but not like how this was. This was just pure joy. The bench players were there. It was just fantastic. And then you look at when defensive plays happen, and you see players giving each other a pat on the back. It's just nice. Everyone's playing for each other. If you don't know that reference, go to the In Between Us. The UK version, not the American version. And then what was I saying? So yeah, the togetherness, and then that whole never say die attitude. So you look at, obviously the Toronto game is the biggest and best example of that. The fact we were able to win it in the 98th minute, that was fantastic. But you look at the times where we brought back the draw against Nashville. You look at even the Cincinnati game. Yes, we got beaten that one, but the fact that we were still going for a goal in added time, it's great to see the passion, the desire, the whole 9 yards. I love it, and I'm here all day for that. I don't care. Well, I do care, obviously. I do care if we get beat, but if we go down with a fight, that's what we want. Not just to say we're 2-0 down and the game's over. No, it's never over. So the fact that we can do that, that's awesome. After the steady improvement since the start of the season, it's been good to see the players being brought on complement each other. Yeah, absolutely great point. Reaction to Green's goal was amazing. Yes, feels like a whole squad of people, not paychecks. That's what you see in some teams is you'll get the DPs coming in and they're there for the paycheck. And then that's it. But even with Benteke, with Taxi, with Click, they're all there for each other. They might well be the DPs, but they play like everybody's on the same level. They play like they're getting paid the same amount as Jacob Green. Things like that. Everyone's together. You get paid more, so you're this, that, and the other. No one's on a pedestal. Everyone is the same, and that's what is great about it. And that I feel that a lot of that is down to Wayne. You look at what he did with Derby County and how everyone was together and how he treated everyone and everyone was on the same thing. Absolutely brilliant. O'Brien has been a great ad. 100% agree. I know he's in some areas, some fans getting a little bit of stick, but yes, he has the odd bad game. Who doesn't? Nobody has 100% great games. But yeah, the last few games that I've seen, O'Brien has been brilliant. He's been he is a proper box to box midfielder, and you see him going back, you see him go forward, you see him playing the passes, you see him having attempts at goal. Yeah, love it. Gave up the times last year. This year is totally different. Yeah, it's last year and some of the year before, it was difficult to watch and stay up for the games and keep going. But I obviously still kept going, but it was difficult. This year, so far, I've gone, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. Really looking forward to it. And it's like this weekend, I'm really looking forward to this game. So it's awesome. Consider what Rooney must have been paid compared to some of his teammates of the year. He must have had a big impact on we're in this together attitude. Yeah. He's got that gravitas as well. He's got the respect of everyone because of what he's done in his playing career, and actually what he did with his playing career towards the end with DC. How he helped everyone. I think it was clips of him when he was going to the youth teams as well, where he's there spending time with the kids and things like that. It's just, when you look at his background, he's a council estate kid. So he knows what it's like to have that upbringing, and he knows what it takes and the dedication it takes to. Brilliant. So those are my two favorite things. Special moment on the pitch. is that Ted's goal or the Jacob Green goal. But yeah, the play, I think, is that Ted goal. I think that was just something else. The fact that it was so late in the game, the fact that it was a winner, the fact that it was 98th minute and it was so late, so early in the morning, I think it just felt so brilliant. I just went absolutely mental. It's great. Loved it. So yeah, so we got that. So thank you, Stu, for that question. That was really good. Good contributions. And then the front six have been tremendous and kept pressure off the back line. Yeah. It'd be nice to have Taxi back, Taxi and Benteke. Oh, the overheads. How did I forget about that one? That was something else. I think I drooled over that one and I talked a lot about it on the pod, because the way it happened as well. The fact that the ball was going away from him and he was able to get it back. Yeah, the technique on that. That was proper Benteke's. So yeah. Good question, Stu. Keenan on Instagram sent a question in and said, which players have impressed or surprised you the most so far this season? Impressive. Everyone's actually been impressive. I think that's actually probably the most surprising thing, is that everyone has been pulling that weight. And that's awesome. Tyler Miller, surprisingly good. Birnbaum has had his moments so far this year, but he's also, since we've gone to a back five, he's been brilliant. So back four, at the start of the season was a little bit, but since going to the back five, he's looked much, much better. Paulson, he's been solid, especially since moving to the centre-back role. Done very well. Pines has been probably one of the most improved players so far this year compared to last year. Last year was a difficult year for Pines. So far this year, he's done very well. He's had a couple of moments. Well, I'm not ignoring that, but generally speaking, he's been very good. Derek Williams, in the few games that we've seen so far, I've been impressed by him. Jayze has been decent. Ruan, up and down, but when he's going forward, I love his pace. Absolutely brilliant. Midfield wise, Nahar, we've not seen enough of him this year. We know how good of a player he is, but he's been out injured quite a lot. We need to really wrap him up in cotton wool. Jacob Green's been great when he's been able to make an impact when he's played. Then O'Brien's been brilliant since we've brought him in that short time. I hope we are able to keep him to the end of the year. Really hope so. Because if he goes, he's going to be a big miss. So yeah, we need to do all we can to keep him. Knaus, I could see that in the comments there. Knaus has been unexpectedly good. Raised his game a level or two. DC sleeper cell when you need him. Ta-da. Knaus, I've genuinely been so happy to see how good he's been, because he's been with the club a little while now, and I think he's just getting better with age. Cudi Pietro, yes. He's like, at the stage of his career right now, if he's making the impact like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did at Man United as the super sub, that's how it feels like at the moment. You know, he comes on and he will make a difference. That's what we need from him right now. Click, majority of the time has been good, which is what I would expect from him, being a DP. Taxi being good since he's come back. Benteke's a really good year so far. Who else we got that I might have missed? Feel free to shout some names up at me in the chat. Fletcher, been good. O'Brien, I did mention him. He's been very, very good. Box to box wise, superb. I really wish, like Harish, I hope we keep him. I really hope we keep him. Here we go. Akambone. Not seen too much of him this year, but I like him as a player. I think he's brilliant. Hopkins, I don't think we've seen enough of him to really make a huge judgment for this year so far. Assad, yeah. Super Summer, no Ronnie Rosenthal reference. No. The one that's stuck in my head is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then, Bono is obviously only played in the Open Cup. Durkin, since the times that he's played further forward, he's looked better. That's what I think. When he plays further forward rather than more defensive role, Durkin comes out. And he did that against Nashville when he had that effort off the bar. I was so frustrated that didn't go in. Dahome's new. Can't really say too much. Who else we got in the list there that I might miss? Ravel Morrison. Yeah. Better said the better. Forest don't get relegated, there's a good chance we keep up Brian. Yeah. I hope for that sake before we stay up. Roberto's obviously been out injured. Rodriguez is out for the year. Samake's played a couple of times. He's looked, yeah. He's definitely not an MLS regular player. He needs to improve quite a lot. There's bits of his game that look decently. But yeah, there's a lot of improvement needs to be made if he wants to be a regular. But he wears the classic just all black boots. And I'm there for that. Pedro Santos. He started off well. Yeah, Ravel is still on the roster. Yeah. Pedro Santos had a good start and then dipped. Had a decent game, and I think he went out injured. Pines has been so good. I've been a critic for this. He's slow and not a good defender, but he slots in well in the fight. I don't think he's slow to react, but he's actually got a hell of a pace on him for such a big guy. Also got, yeah, that's everyone. So yeah, and that was the last question. So move to the trivia time, which was who lived in Zlatan's head rent-free back in 2019? Now, Stu came up with an answer, and I believe there was another answer in the chat as well. Just if I can scroll up, there we go. Let's go back to that area. So Stu said Quincy. Pamela thought it was Zardes. But the player that lived rent-free in Zlatan's head back in 2019, Stu was correct. It was Quincy Ameriqua. Loved that. He was on the podcast the day after. He was my first ever player interview. Back in the day, back in 2019, the first year I started doing the pod, we did it over Skype. Absolutely brilliant. I was super nervous, but he was actually made me feel a bit more relaxed. We had a good chat, and we talked about that whole situation. And let me see if I can actually bring the clip up. So give me 2 moments, and we will actually have the clip that I got from Quincy back in 2019. The interview. Here we go. So I'm just going to play the clip.
Because there was a bit of a height difference. Let's put it that way. You seem to put him in your back pocket a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's bigger physically, but I'm bigger mentally, so it balanced out.
Yeah, so that was an interesting time. That one. There was no video podcast back in those days. But yeah, that was awesome to have him on. And just for him just to come out, yeah, well, he's bigger, but I'm better and then there was the whole rent-free stuff. That was just, that was awesome. That was a good day. That was a good interview. Very happy. So yeah, that's it for today's show. A little bit longer than what we've been doing recently. We're an hour and 10 in. So thank you for everyone tuning in. Thank you to obviously DC United admin coming in the chat right at the get-go and interacting with everyone there. Thank you to everyone in the chat, Harish, Stu, Pamit, Isaiah, Guna Boy. Thank you all for tuning in live. It makes it worth it. So yeah, that's it for this week. Let's go and get 3 points this weekend. I will be doing my Instagram live, so I'll try and do a pre-game chat, but I'll be there certainly for a halftime and full-time chat as well. So make sure you tune in for that. And yeah, I will see you all next week, hopefully with a question that I've had answered in the press conference. So yeah, but yeah, one last reminder, or request, I should say. Please, if you've got this on Apple Podcast, or if you've got access to Apple Podcast, please do leave a review. Just we can get, well, one, up the rankings, because that's always great, but two, means that we can get the club to a wide audience and generate some new fans for the club, because that's what this whole thing is about, is bringing the club to a wider audience so we get more fans and get extra people involved wherever you are in the world, whether it's in the USA, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in South America, Africa, Asia, Australasia, wherever. Let's get people involved, because this is a great club, great community, and I feel humbled to be able to come and do this. So thank you. And as always, subscribe, like the episode, do all that jazz. I know you do. So yeah, until next time, Vamos United.
Swelling on record, off record deals. Tell them Chuck the Colin for the quote. On record, off record eyes. Still want the act, not the ghost.